Another inspiring person that's joined. Hello, Tulsi. She's just joined our live. I don't know, have you ever met Tulsi before?
I don't think I have.
So I met Tulsi quite a few years ago. She is a burn survivor. She was in a plane crash. She's been a guest on my podcast, and she's also supported us and helped us fundraise a lot. She's an amazing woman. She's very resilient. She's very determined. She's very ambitious. She's a businesswoman. She's a speaker. I think she's actually currently in Australia. She was out there giving talks. And, you know, she survived a plane crash with her family, and her family didn't survive. But she went on to set up her own business. She's a Pilates instructor, and she helps patients with all different diseases and conditions with a form of rehabilitation through Pilates. So yeah, she's
nice.
Yeah, I just feel like at the moment in the current climate, we're all looking towards healthy role models, people that can show us no matter how tough life gets, we can bounce back. Yeah, and I think stories like hers really kind of inspire me. Becky Mitchell, 88, says, "Thanks, Katie and Sam, for all you do. You are wonderful." We have Mandy Gisella says, "I'm happy to support on a voluntary basis. I'm trained in EMDR therapy for trauma."
Oh, wow.
Well, that's really cool. Yeah, thank you, Mandy. Get in touch with us through the website. I mean, obviously, we have great psychological support at the moment for survivors, and I think that's carrying on as well, virtually. Laura Jane Summer says, "Hi, Sam. You're one of the best physios I've ever worked with." Do you know who that is?
It's a nurse that I worked with at the Burns Centre.
Oh, lovely. You all help so much despite the pain. I'm having rehab even after 30 years, and I value it so much, so thank you.
Oh, that's lovely. It's hard to hear things like that because I'm just doing my job. You know, it's strange because as I said, I'm just working. It's not. It doesn't feel like. I don't know how to explain it. I do really enjoy it, and I think that's why I don't feel like it is work, if that makes sense.
But I think your average person doesn't understand. They think of a burn patient as, have plastic surgery, or they have an operation when they're burnt, and that's it. They don't realise the ongoing physio, the scar management. I think your average person wouldn't understand that until, you've really gone through it yourself.
Yeah.
You've got a question here from Lewis Moyers first, Dan. So Lewis Moyers is a brilliant fundraiser for us. He's supported the charity for quite a few years. And he says, "Hi, Sam and Katie. Sam, as a personal trainer, I'm interested as to what different exercises you do at different stages of your patients. What do you do?"
So we don't limit exercises from day of injury pretty much, unless obviously they're extremely poorly and they're on intensive care and they can't cope cardiovascularly with us treating them. We start, even if they're ventilated and sedated, by doing passive exercises, stretches to maintain everything, because even within a few days we find that all the joints can start to tighten up, especially if they're not positioned well. So from acute injury right through to years down the line, we'll progress obviously with mobility, cardiovascular, and just making sure that we're keeping up with the stretches as well is just so important. So there's not necessarily a restriction unless there is another trauma associated with the reason behind the burn. So for example, if they fell from a height and they've got fractures, there will be no limitations as to what we necessarily do.
Mm-hmm. Okay, there's a really good question for you here. It's from Luce2106. She says, "I can completely relate to the pressure garments in this heat, the rude comments that also come along with them, but you carry on with a bigger smile than before."
Because it'll be worth it in the end, definitely.
Yeah. Do you know what? I can totally relate to this because I wore a plastic face mask for 2 years. I wore a pressure garment neck collar. I wore a zip-up jacket pressure garment. Yeah. I wore glove pressure garment, all with silicone underneath. And I got lots of stares, lots of comments. And in the end, I thought, do you know what? This is my rehab and this is my life.
Yeah.
And I came to I don't like to be kind of patronising or fluffy. So I came to the realisation of I am disfigured forever. So I can either give my rehab the best shot ever, or I can not wear these things out of embarrassment for people who I don't need to seek a gratification from.
No.
I don't need to seek acceptance from strangers. They are not in my life. And, as you know, scars only have a 2-year window. They're malleable for 2 years. And then after that, that's it. They've matured and you can't change them. So, sometimes when you wear the garments out, when you wear the masks out, in a way, they attract more attention than the actual burn injury.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes in life, whatever you're going through, it might not be a disability. It might be you gained weight, you're losing weight, you have a disability. Whatever it is you're doing and going through, you're not living your life for other people. And if you are, that's absolutely exhausting.
Yeah.
Because you'll never please everybody. And if you do, at the expense of your own happiness,
You're so right.
Being a people pleaser is very unsatisfactory. And, as a burn survivor, it's very tempting to hide away for other people's embarrassment, Let those awkward silences happen. Let those stares happen. Let those rude questions happen and answer them educatedly, politely and matter of fact, embarrass people into being so uneducated and so ignorant. And it's hard, but I think if you get the opportunity to go through rehab with someone like you and you get your physio and you get to unite with other burn survivors, you start to grow that resilience, the strength to say, this is my world too, and this is my recovery as well,
Yeah.
And I think that's where I got up to. I got called a freak in the street. I got spat at, all kinds of things, and I never stopped wearing the mask. I never stopped wearing the garments. And now here I am. I'm 12 years on. I'm annoying my husband every day. I've got 2 kids, so I've locked in the bathroom so I can come on Instagram Live. But
yeah.
And when you really think about it, right, it's exactly like lockdown, but being asked to do something temporarily for a period to have a positive impact long term. And that's what burn rehab is. You're asked to do something temporarily for a year or 2 so you can have the rest of your life,
Absolutely. And that is part of my role, is to remind patients every day that they are survivors, that they've gone through the most horrendous moment of their life that we can't change, but how are we going to make it better? So it's making sure that they understand that, 2 years right now seems like a really long time for recovery, but if you carry on and you stick with wearing your pressure garments and your splints, the path will be much shorter and the journey will be a lot better for you in the long term. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. I think because I'm old now, I've just got to the point where I'm like, I don't really care what people think about me because not everyone's going to like me anyway. So it's kind of exhausting anyway. Lucy216 has wrote a lovely comment. She says, in your famous words, I'm beautiful like me, not beautiful like her. So love yourself and be happy. And that I think that is a really good quote, because there's so many comparisons out there, and there'll always be someone that will make you feel worse about yourself or make you feel inadequate. And it's actually about being your own kind of beautiful, your own kind of successful. Yes. I think that's a really lovely one.
I always think that, if they're talking about yourself, if somebody's telling me things about you, they're not talking about somebody else. And I know that's a really strange way of thinking about it, but it's having the tools to deal with that yourself. So a lot of our burn survivors, I'll say, so if somebody goes out and asks you a question and staring at you, just say hello back to them. You have a voice. It's kind of planning like a script as to what you're going to say to them. If they're asking you what happened, you don't have to tell them what happened.
No.
Anything you want.
You need to be assertive enough to say, actually, this is my boundary and this is what I will give, but I won't overgive because I don't need to.
Yeah, definitely.
Nicola Turby Illustrations says, exhausting is the word. You're never enough for others, but you are enough for yourself. That's a nice, that's a great way to look at it. Also, Katie Piper Foundation has said, if you are on the chat tonight and you need support or you need help, please do reach out to us. Go to our website, katiepiperfoundation.org.uk. We are still supporting new and old burn survivors, so go to the Contact Us section and we will be here to help you. And they also said, Katie Piper Foundation said, long-term goals, long-term gains.
Yeah.
I like that. Emma Jacob 6 says, "You're amazing, Katie. It's such an inspiration. My daughter was burnt as a baby by a hot drink, and we take strength from how positive you are." That's quite a common burn injury, is it?
Yeah, it is. Scalds, definitely, with children. They're just so inquisitive, as you know. They just pull down drinks and, mums need a cup of coffee and a cup of tea, and so do dads. Unfortunately, it is.
I can't function without my coffee in the morning.
No, I'm the same. Absolutely. If they're cruising, unfortunately, they do. They're just so inquisitive, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I don't personally work with children. I'm predominantly adults.
Right.
But I think having 2 children now of my own and working in that environment, I'd find it quite I do find adult burn survivors difficult, but I just don't think I could manage with children. As strange as that sounds.
Yeah, I think because you're a mum, I understand it. Because I'm a mum too, Yeah.
I have found it quite strange though, treating patients in my own kitchen.
No way.
It has been a bit weird, in a good way. You kind of feel a bit more relaxed, but it's been quite challenging, more so than I thought. You can kind of switch off a little bit at work. You can dissociate yourselves from the difficult conversations. I have patients that emotionally break down on me since I've come home. So being in your own kitchen and listening to really sad calls has been quite hard.
Yeah.
And you listen to them every day at work, but then doing it within your own environment, it's different, really. It's really strange.
Have you had to have a frantic tidy up of the background and push all the tea towels out the way and make it look nice?
No, I've just put the blinds down.
Love that. No, I feel like I could talk to you for hours. I've had you on here for 40 minutes.
Right.
Which is quite long. I actually think Instagram cuts you off at 45.
Okay.
So I just want to say, not just as the charity founder, but as a burn survivor myself, thank you for what you're doing for all the survivors, because I know from my own journey, you never, ever forget the physio that gave you your life back. I remember the names of my physios. I remember the day they gave my life back. I remember the day I walked for the first time, swallowed for the first time. Like I said, was able to eat properly for the first time. And I mean, it's, without being graphic, you remember them better than you remember the person you lost your virginity to. So, honestly, it is a massive legacy to be a physio of a burn survivor. So it's been brilliant to chat to you tonight and hear a bit more about what you do.
You too.
And obviously, you're working for the Katie Pipe Foundation. You're still working now. So if anyone wants to support Sam in the work that she's doing, please text KPF to 700-85 and you will donate £3. I understand it's a difficult time for everybody at the moment, but if you feel that you can go beyond £3, please go to our website, katiepipefoundation.org.uk, where you can donate. And I will add a swipe up link into my story as well. So thank you so much for giving me my evening.